Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yo,
We should play a game with everybody. Where is Corin now? Where in the world is Corin?
oh man, my arm bar just went down and it's not at the level that I want it to.
When you said armbar, I thought of UFC.
Do you get tight if someone moves your car seat? Like if I was like, oh, I'm gonna move your car around to the front. And
Yeah,
I, like,
if you were in the driver's seat and you fucked with it, yeah, I'd be a little annoyed.
like both things, like if I rotated the shit up and moved it forward or back,
Yeah, I'd be a little bit annoyed for both. I feel like
I
there's
would be
just...
super annoyed.
But here's the thing: if you ask me, then I'll be like, yeah, go ahead. But if you don't ask me, and then I get in my car next, and it's like it's just way off, I'll be like, what the fuck, Corin? You know what I mean? It's a courtesy thing. It's like just ask me, and then I'll bless you.
I get super mad whether they ask or if they don't ask. Like I don't want you touching my seat.
Yeah, you just don't want to move. I hear you on that. Over the years, I've slowly moved closer and closer to the wheel. There's like some shit that happens. The older you get, the closer you get. By the time you're 80, you're like,
oh yeah, you're sitting in the shit heavy.
yeah. Oh, by the way, before we continue, let's just do the poll right now. Constipation versus diarrhea.
Oh.
Now, I have to say, you're going to win because I asked two people since we had the conversation.
Yeah.
And both of them hit me with like, looking at me like, it's obviously diarrhea. Like they would obviously rather have diarrhea. And I was like, what?
100%.
So I'm the only one who thinks constipation is better?
Yeah.
I must have some OD diarrhea when I have diarrhea, son.
No, I have OD diarrhea and I don't mind. No, I don't really have OD diarrhea. But if I have some, like that week I said when I had Chipotle and was just not in pain, it was sort of in a weird way, like enjoyable.
No, every time I've ever had diarrhea, I've been like miserable and feeling excruciating stomach pains.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Right, you mean, diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Every time I've ever had diarrhea.
There's probably levels to it. There's one obviously that you have stomach pains and your stomach hurts and all that stuff. But then there's one where it's just free flowing. It's like Niagara Falls. It's just like a straight constant flow. It's like putting your soda thing under a fountain. And you push that little silver thing and it's just like shh.
You love making that comparison. You always make that comparison, like root beer.
Have I made that comparison before?
Yeah, you have. Every time we've ever had this conversation, you're like, it's like a soda machine.
Seriously?
Yes.
Damn, I never wanted to be that guy that like repeats his shit.
That happens to all of us, dude. I do that shit too.
But I definitely have said the soda machine reference before.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck.
Like before you even said it, I knew you were gonna say it. I was like, "This is the part where he says, yeah, 100%."
I thought Niagara Falls I've said before, but the soda machine I thought was original.
Nah, I've heard you make that before. All right, so how should I word this? I'm gonna word it the most important poll question ever. If you had to have one of these, which one would you pick?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good, right? Okay.
Given a choice or some shit.
Constipation. How do I spell diarrhea? D-I-A, diarrhea. They kind of went, like, why did they do all that? Like, whoever decided how to write the word diarrhea,
yeah,
they were sort of, like, being obnoxious.
OD.
Yeah.
That and definitely. I can never spell definitely.
Oh, I always had problems with definitely too, son.
Yeah, I'm trying to spell it out right now. DEFENITELY. That's wrong, right?
Hold on, I'm gonna let me just post this and then I'll try it myself without cheating. I'll try.
I'm like trying to write it like def because I always think so, like whenever I write, I'll never write out definitely, and if I do, I just hope to God that iPhone autocorrect will just correct my shit.
Yo, not for nothing, autocorrect is wrong like over 50% of the time. Like it always like
Seriously?
Stop fucking changing when I write fuck to duck.
Oh.
Like stop like you know I'm trying to say fuck. Why are you like being resistant to the fact that I say fuck a hell of a lot more than I say duck?
Or ducking. How often have I ever told like I'm only telling someone to I might say duck occasionally if like you're at a baseball field and like a ball is coming at your head. I'll be like, oh, yo, duck.
Yeah, but there's
But
no
I still
reason to
wouldn't.
text it. Very rarely would you ever text it.
I think it's safe to say I've said the word duck under 100 times in my whole life.
I don't know about that, son. Okay, wait. I got it right when I typed it. It was
T.
DEFINITELY.
So I rewrote it, and I thought it
Definitely.
was right, but I spelled it DEFINTLEY. So I missed the I.
Yeah, you put definitely. It's definitely.
Def
Like
in.
finite is in the middle. DE finite LY.
So DEFIN.
ITELY.
Okay, so I missed the I.
My old thing that I used to do all the time was I would drop the E and put an A where the E is. Definitely. I would put an A.
Yeah, no, I didn't think to put an A anywhere, but I don't know why I did. You know where I fucked up?
Where?
I switched the second E, so DEF I got right, but then I threw an E in when there's an I.
Oh, you put definitely.
Defen.
Yeah, defen.
Yeah, I guess if you
DEFEN.
really take the time to sound it
Like,
out.
fuck that word. Like, make it a little less like obnoxious. Where like, if me and you were both misspelling it, then just average people are gonna have problems spelling it. Like, we're average people.
Yeah, and it's like every time I go to Google to try and get the right shit, it knows what I'm gonna like. I'll put a D, and it'll just be like definitely, and I'm like, yeah, how the fuck do you know that shit?
You know what else I still fuck up to this day, man? Like, I'm working on it. I'm getting better. But always was not good with my THERE there versus THEIR there.
Oh, I'm money on that one. That one's simple.
Nah. Don't play me, son. Like, I'm telling you.
I might play you on that one because even I get that shit now.
Nah. First of
And
all,
I don't get a lot of shit.
Let me just, in defense of me, because I love to defend myself, THEY apostrophe RE I always get right. Because that's they are. That's an abbreviation for they are.
Hold on. Say that one again.
THEY apostrophe RE.
Yeah, I could get down on that
That's
one.
the easiest one. That's
Yep.
like, if you fuck that one up, you got serious problems, son.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
But then there and there, I still fuck up every now and then. And
I wish you had an example because I've said this, I'm not grammatically anything, but I could get down on the theirs and theirs.
yeah, the general rule is THEIR is ownership. It's and THERE is like pointing at something over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the difference. I get the difference, but every now and then I'll fuck it up. But then, because when I was a kid, I was massively dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that.
So,
like, I used to literally write my S's backwards out of the blue. Like, my mom would be like, like, what?
that shit I never. I mean, I'm gonna say some mad ignorant shit, but like, I just don't get how that's possible. Like, even people who stutter, and I stutter from time to time. I'm just like, why don't you just not
do that? Yeah. No, but that's another thing. When I was a kid, I didn't have a stutter. A stutter is technically something a little different. I had what's called a stammer, which is, they said it's a little bit different. It's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. But I used to stammer like a motherfucker. Back when I was a kid, I couldn't.
It sounds like some nice like rap shit or something like that. Like I used to stammer
like a motherfucker. But
wait, so what stammer? You would just reverse things?
I don't know the difference. But it was basically like a stutter. I would get the word out eventually, but I would just stumble over the words, like when I talk like this. When I was a kid, I used to do that.
Really?
And then randomly one day, gone. It just went away.
Just outgrew it?
I don't know. It just out of the blue one day, it just went away. And somebody who you know, who you're friends with, and I'm friends with, Mike, and his last name starts with an L. You in high school were friends with him. I was when we were younger. Yeah, you got it. You got it. He actually hit me with what you just said one time when I was a kid, and it might have worked. He was like, he's like, just say it. And I was like, damn, you're right. I probably should just say it. No, but you know what else I fuck up all the time? This one you're really going to get at me for. This one I fuck up even more than there and there. Then and then.
Oh, I can't get that one for the life of me. I don't know if I used the
I
right
fucked
one.
that one up like crazy, man. THAN and THEN.
Yeah.
I'm proposing we just make that one shit. Like, pick one and we're going with that for both.
Yeah, or even some like throw a random letter in there that just takes the place of both of those shits.
Like
That's
they
like
do it,
silent or
like
something.
for in England, what they do, like they always add U's. Like, well, they're the original actually, so we dropped the U's because they were the originators.
Uh-huh.
But like flavor, the word flavor would be spelled
Yes.
FLAVOUR, and
Yeah.
color COLOUR.
Yeah.
They're the originators.
Yep.
So we can't even get at them. Like they can get at us and be like, "Why'd you drop the U, you assholes?"
That actually would make for I would get behind that petition to get rid of it and then and substitute it with "thun." That's actually not a bad word.
No, but the thing is, it's got to be like then still because it's like nobody's gonna change it to thun or thun or whatever. No,
"Thun." You don't like "thun"?
no, because nobody's gonna change the way they speak because we're so used to saying then. It's just a matter of we need to abolish one of them and just
So what
say
about
from now on it's just then for both of them, like THAN for both or THEN for both. We could pick one, or we could do some British shit and do THAEN for both and pronounce it then. The same shit.
what about well, I was just gonna spell this out, but then I realized what word it spells. I was gonna say THIN, but then realized it spells thin.
No, but
But
then
thin could work.
here's
'Cause
the
it's like,
here's the rule. Here's the rule. The way it actually works in real life is THEN means like, and then we did this. Like
okay,
it's the next thing. Then is like the next thing happened. So we ate some food and then we went and played ball. Like
got it.
then means next, and THAN is not that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna give you a word right now that I still, even when I sit down and think about it, cannot spell for the life of me.
What word?
Theater.
Oh, I got that shit.
Easy?
Well, no, because there's two ways to spell it that are correct. One of them is the English way, and one of them is the American English way.
And you know both
Yeah.
of those.
Okay,
What the fuck?
the American English way.
You just hit me with some crazy shit.
Nah, the American English way. Here, I got this. The American
Okay.
English way is THEARTER. That's theater. Now,
Hold on. TH ear. So
okay,
ear.
ready? Here, I'm gonna type it on my
Well, seeing ear in there helps now. TH
TH and then eater, like eater,
A.
like somebody who eats. Eater. He's an
Oh,
eater.
I thought you said EAR.
No, that's the English way. The American
T-
English way is THEATER, and then the British way of spelling it, the English way, the traditional English way, is THEATRE.
THEATRE.
TRE. That's also theater, but that's how they spell it in Britain.
See, that's where I get confused because I think it's one of those words like sometimes people use both of the shits.
Either one is good. Either one you can get away with. It's like another good example. Canceled. You could spell it two ways and it's fine both ways. If you put one L and two L's, it's fine both ways. One of them's one of them's the English way, the British way, and the other one is the American English way. And actually, for that one, I don't know which is which. I think two L's is the British way and one L is the American English way. But
I use two L's.
I like two. Yeah, I prefer two. I put two every time I do it. I like the way it looks better. So I do the two L's. And you can spell it that way. It's totally fine.
Canceled with one L doesn't look right. But
I agree. It doesn't work.
So
It doesn't look right, but
here.
it's real. Like, you could still do that.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. The language is weird, but it's so funny because, like, you can see how we are almost like the child of England because our language is obviously the same, but we just have, like, little tweaks here and there where it's like, nah, we're different, see?
Yep.
But it's like, no, you just kind of copied them. There's only, like, a few words where it's like, no, we're not the same. We're not the same.
Here's one that I'm going to, that hopefully you get mad at when people do this shit. Loose and lose.
Loose is 2 O's, lose is 1 O.
But people try to spell lose, and they do it with 2 O's, which I don't understand how that's even a thing out there.
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
No, I can see how people can get them confused because I can sympathize since I always fuck up then and then. So I can sympathize with people who put the 2 O's and think it's lose, even though that's loose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you not look at that word and say that's not the word I'm looking for?
Because it's so similar. You know another one that people do a lot? People, when they say the word bias, they use the word bias when they're supposed to use the word biased. Like people will
really?
Yeah,
biased is the real
people will
word?
say, "Oh, he's people will say like, "Oh, he's biased." When when they really should be saying he's biased, like ed at the end of it.
Oh, I thought it was a T.
No, it biased would be to say like, "Oh, he's biased." But a lot of people just put bias and drop the ed, and it's like you got to finish it.
Yeah, I need a little more.
Yeah, like you're almost there. I get what you're trying to say, but you gotta add the ed.
Damn,
we just sort of broke it down with language here. I've never had this long of a conversation about language in my life. By the way,
well, it's interesting because theater was the one that still to this day always stumped me, but you sort of just broke it down with that eater shit. It's just th eater.
That's the American way of saying it. Th eater. That's it.
Yeah. And then if you want to get British, you just fucking flip-flop the R and the E.
Yep, that's right. You got it.
It's almost like what we did in high school, or at least what I did. I would cheat off of someone, but then leave out a part of the problem and just still hope that the answer was right.
Oh my god, yeah, the show your work shit. When listen, I always sucked at math, okay? I've been upfront about that from the beginning. I've always been so bad at math. And there were times where I cheated in in like middle school and shit on math tests, and I did the same shit. I would just be like, "What's the answer?" And then I'd write the answer, and then
no, but like my point is, I would see their page perfectly, but I'd be like, I can't do everything exactly the same because then the teacher would be like, he definitely cheated off of Ben or something like that. So I would like leave out an X somewhere or leave out a Y somewhere, which definitely didn't solve the same equation, but I would have the answer down at the bottom, which made my shit way more hotbox than if I just
super hotbox. You should have just copied the whole shit. Yeah.
Well, that's what we did with Britain or whatever. We were just like, oh, theater's a cool word, but we don't want to make it look like we copied their whole shit. So flip-flop the E and the R.
That's so true. I never thought of it like that. We just like copied them and then tried to act like we didn't.
Yeah, and then with all these words, like canceled, it's just like, just take out one of the L's. It still sounds the same.
Yeah.
Like, no, we just stole their whole language.
The funniest shit is always going to be how we measure shit, because the rest of the world all does the same thing. The rest of the world all uses the metric system.
Yeah.
So everything makes sense. Everything is like, there's whatever. I don't even know the rules. See, this is how American I am. I don't even know the rules. There's like 100 somethings in a something. There's, there's 10.
Does anybody know that?
Everybody knows. We're the only people who don't know that because we're super American. Like, there's somebody listening to us right now in the UK, and they're laughing their ass off. And they're like, really? You don't know the fucking rule? Because the rules are so simple. Everything is like, 10 and 100 and 1,000. And
I think there's 12. There's 12 inches in a foot.
Okay, now hold on one second. You're getting a little bit ahead of me. I want to type in metric system, and I'll just the decimal measuring system based on the meter, liter, and gram as units of length, capacity, and weight or mass. The system was first proposed. All right, I don't need to go through all this, but basically,
wait, I want to spread my knowledge before you break into this. I know that 16 ounces equals a pint, and 32 ounces are in a quart.
No. Boom. But see, now here's the thing. We chose to do our own shit, and it makes no sense.
Oh, there's some... Oh,
like, okay,
like
you want to know...
does it right? With the kilometers or whatever?
That's what I'm saying. That's the metric system. The metric system is just... It makes perfect sense, and everything is, in units of 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
And for us, we literally were just like, nah, we're doing our own shit. And everybody's like, all right, so how are you going to do it? And like you just said, we're going to put 12 of this in this. We're going to do like 16 for that. And it just makes no... Like, here's a perfect example. You want to know what a freezing temperature is in the metric system? Or not metric system, but in Celsius.
That's not our shit, right?
That's not our shit.
I don't know, 0.
0 degrees. 0
Yeah,
degrees is the point where, whatever, water becomes ice. 0. For
yeah,
us, it's 32. We just made it up. We're just like, yeah,
yeah.
go with 32. It makes no sense. So,
That doesn't make any
but
sense.
that's what's so funny about it is that it's almost like the U.S. as we do on so many different issues. We were just like, you know what? Fuck all you. We're doing our own shit. Because you go anywhere else and they do it by, like meters, kilometers, yada yada. Like, I'm
It's so
mad that we didn't just do
difficult,
it
too.
on that. It's too late to even switch because we're all so married to how we do it now.
I know, and it's makes everything so difficult because, like, I know I've been to Montreal a handful of times, and it's just it makes
Kilometers.
everything so much more difficult when you see a sign and you're trying to get close to an exit, and it's like 560 kilometers, and you're like, is that shit mad far away? Or are we like, is it close?
Yeah.
And then you got to start like trying to figure out the equation, but it's impossible to try and convert those shits.
Here's how obnoxious we are. So everybody knows I play golf. In like the rest of the world, they use meters as opposed to yards. We use yards in the U.S. Okay, but we are so obnoxious that we have now gotten it to the point where if you go to a course in like the UK, most of the courses will have yards and meters. Like our system, which
To
makes
accommodate
no
us,
sense.
right?
Yeah, our system, which makes no sense, has now spread and is encroaching on the system that makes sense. And even if you listen to like European tour golfers, many of them will do their shit in yards, and you're like, damn. So we're that powerful that we like made everybody capitulate, man.
Pretty much.
That's so crazy. That's so fucking crazy.
I, it just goes back to we cheated off of everybody else's work, and we're just making up our own answers as we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of, I don't know if we were talking about weather, but I wanted to bring up the weather.
oh no, where I'm at, it's my TV's out right now because I want to watch Toronto.
Oh, tell everybody where you
Philly.
are.
I'm in Austin, Texas, and I've got a story about the police department down here that still getting me. It like gets my fucking blood boiling, man.
Yeah,
Just
tell everybody. This is
because-
interesting.
So I'm driving, like just driving back from dinner. It's like probably 25 minutes, half an hour away from my hotel, and I'm going. Like the speed limit sign I saw is 45. It was fluctuating between 55, 45 because it was a smaller town, and it was like a town within a highway that was 70 miles per hour. So always, I understand that shit like speed limits change, and obviously you got to be aware of that. But the lowest I saw was 45. Middle shit I saw was 55. So I was at 51. I was around like 50, 51. I passed one cop, doesn't pull me over because I'm not speeding. I go a little further up, and a guy just like pulls out mad quick. He was not following me for any amount of time. So I switch to the right lane, automatically pulls me over, lights on, all that. Comes out to my car. What are you doing? Blah, blah. Do you realize you were going 51 and a 35, but I also got you going for 64 and a 55. And I'm like, he started saying all these numbers almost like he had it scripted to a point that like I couldn't even like I got to first think about, okay, I'm getting a ticket. Now, the first ticket's for a 51 and a 35, but you're going to tell me some shit that I was going 60 something and a foot. Like, it's just so much being thrown at me that I can't even, like, one, he's a cop. I'm not going to straight argue with him off the bat for speeding. I just knew that I wasn't speeding. And it right away he goes, yep, I'm going to give you a citation. You know, you got to slow down and be safe on the roads. And then I start thinking, I'm like, I wasn't speeding, one. And he came out behind me way too fast to say that he was following me for enough time to see that I was speeding. So I did some digging, and I went online later because I was just like, this has to be a way for them to give people tickets and just make money, because it was a $250 fine, which is OD.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
It's insane.
Especially for a small town in Texas.
For a small town at like 10 o'clock at night when nobody's on the road, and granted, like, if someone is speeding, they shouldn't be speeding whether there's people or not around. So I look up, and there's all these forums. It's like Gibbons, Texas. So I'll put you on blast, Gibbons, Texans. If any of the police officers listen to this podcast, fuck you guys, don't listen to the podcast anymore.
Turn it off now.
But like, I read all these forums that like this police department purposely abuses their power and pulls people over because like no one fights it. And how can you fight it?
Yeah, like in order for that to stop, you honestly would need the state government of Texas to apply some sort of pressure on them. By the way, your shit froze. You still there? Okay.
Oh, you froze a little. Yeah.
Yeah, you froze hard body too. Your face was funny too. It was like this.
That's how my face was when that guy was giving me a ticket.
But yeah,
you said you need the state.
Yeah, you would need the state government to apply pressure to the town and to basically tell them, like, if you don't stop this, there's going to be consequences. However it may come about, we'll cut your funding or whatever it might be. But that's
But even then, it's like how does that happen? You know, like is the
yeah,
state
exactly.
really
Like the chances of that happening are basically nothing. So basically, they're existing with impunity. Like they can just do whatever they want, basically, on this front because what they're doing is they're just knocking people probably to fund their town government. Like
100%.
Yeah,
and here's the thing. I gotta now call a phone number. It says on there I can't pay by credit card. I have to pay by money order and not a personal check. Like it seems so shady. Like it's going into like someone's direct pockets. That like it's almost if I had more time and I really wanted to dig into it seems like some corrupt ass shit where it's just going into someone's pocket.
You already said enough, dude. That it's super corrupt.
I can only pay with a money order. Like.
Yeah, that's some 1990s shit. That's like Western Union. Like, no. There's some creepy shit going on here, dude. This is like a super corrupt police department.
And here's the thing. Like, so I told my wife, I told you, I told my brother and my sister. And like, obviously people are going to give me the benefit of the doubt. But it almost sounds like me telling the story. People are like, nah, man, you were definitely speeding. Like, stop. Like, cut the shit. Like, you know, there's no, like...
No, that's not what I thought, because you would have told me. You would have been like... Yeah. The first thing you would have said was like, yo, I got knocked. I was going 15 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah.
You 100% would have said that. You wouldn't... Because why the fuck would you lie to me? There's no reason to lie to me.
I know.
You know I'm going to take your side no matter what, so why would you not tell me the truth?
It gets me so mad that I even have to, like preface it, my story, with that, like, you're not going to believe me with this shit. And that, like, here's some research I've done on this, you know, police department.
Dude, it's frustrating. Just before you finish the story real quick, I just want to tell you that this happened to me one time when I was driving. I was in high school. I was going to class, and I was driving, and I was sitting there like this with my arm on the armrest and my left hand on the wheel, and I was singing along to the song. And I got pulled over. And the cop swore up and down I was on my cell phone. I was like, I was literally not on my cell phone. So anyway, long story short, he gave me a ticket. I went to court and literally showed my fucking phone records and was like, the ticket was at this point in time. Look, I was not on the phone at that point in time. And then I still had to pay the fucking $50 surcharge or whatever it was. But they threw out the ticket. But I was like, I remember being like, oh my God, I'm telling the truth and he doesn't believe me. Yeah.
So here's my thing with that though. Like, you fighting your case, you're fighting it in like a more like
suburban
liberal area where there's like different judges and like, you know, there's more unbiased opinions. If I were to even think, like, someone said to me like, go back and take a picture of the sign like where you got pulled over, and I was like, one, the sign's not right by where I got pulled over. I didn't really even see that many speed limit signs. And two, like, how can I justify where I got pulled over exactly? You know, like, it's just such a hard thing to do, to take a picture of the speed limit sign as to where I got pulled over. Like, granted, from where I got pulled over, you can see about, I don't know, maybe half a mile in front of me, a 70 mile per hour speed limit sign. But maybe that's where the 70 mile starts. So like that wouldn't be a great defense. But if I'm going to fight this, I'm going to some small town where there's probably one judge who knows every single one of those cops.
Exactly right. There's literally no way they would throw it out. There's no way. There's no way they'd throw it out for the exact reason you stated. It's a small town. Like, if it's a small town, here's what I think. If they had pulled over somebody and they go to talk to him and it's somebody that they know from town, they'd be like, "Oh, Jeff, my bad, I didn't know it was you. Go ahead."
Yep.
But since you're an outsider,
Illinois plates. Yep.
They're just
Illinois
like,
driver's
I'll
license.
knock this fucker. He's a guy from Illinois.
Yep. And to my, you know, not to my advantage, I don't really even if I knew the law that well, I don't know the law. And I started reading up on Texas law a little bit too about like speed limits and all this shit. They sort of are like the wild, wild west. So there's like other states have certain like formats that they go by, like interstates are this
Yeah,
speed
yeah,
limit.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Texas was pretty much was like, yeah, after 2013, they could do whatever they want type of shit. And I was just like,
Shit.
there goes that.
Damn, man.
But I
Damn.
was also more surprised that every person that like I guess this never really happened to me before, but every other person like told this to was like, yeah, unfortunately, that happens. That happened to me or this or that. And I was like, no, that shit shouldn't happen. Like
On
there
some
shouldn't be setting
on some
people
like
up.
I got caught in the scam shit too. They were saying
Yes,
basically.
yeah, yeah. And I'm just like a naive little child.
No,
Like,
that never happened to me. I mean, I haven't done that many long ass trips,
yeah.
but that's never happened to me.
But
But let
even
me
the
just say,
cell phone thing.
I'm not surprised that it happened though. You know what I'm saying? Like it never happened to me, but I'm not surprised that there's some town in the middle of Texas that's like scamming people. And by the way, this is what we were talking about the other night. It's my personal opinion. You don't have to say anything right now if you don't want to say anything right now, but I think because you're driving for work, I think work should pay for it. Because you would never be in a small ass random ass town in Texas if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it's like you would be working for free for quite a while if you had to pay it. That's what ends up happening.
yeah, it's just I guess I'm more like I don't know, I don't want to like brag about myself, but I feel like I have such a good heart that it almost just hurt me that like this shit goes on. Like that this is the real world of like people scamming people like that in positions of power to do that. Which
Well,
I mean that goes
dude,
on everywhere.
but stop and think about it. If you wanted a scam to work, what's the best way to make the scam work? Have the people who are supposed to be the people who uphold the law do it.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like there's a positional advantage right off the bat. Like
Yep.
you already are the law.
Yeah.
So people think like almost will rationalize what you do and work backwards from it. Like think about it. If you were going like let's say 9 miles an hour over the speed limit and you got pulled over and the dude did the whole shit, you'd be like, I guess maybe I had that coming. But you know you weren't speeding, so it's like no, you guys are just running a scam.
And then it got me even more tight because then I started driving, I don't know, maybe another 10 miles up the road. And I saw a cop camped out. And like after this, I had my speedometer set to even lower than the 70 shit because that's what we were at now. And when I was in the 70, I was doing like 65 and the cop pulled out behind me. The next, like a new cop, and started driving behind me. So then as it's 70, it switched down to 55. So right as the sign hit, I dropped my shit down to 55. And he stayed with me for a little bit. But then I was even like, what if he just pulls me over? Then I get another ticket for just going the speed. It made me lose a little bit of my fucking like hope in mankind just by like these fucking Texas cops being assholes. And I'm not comparing myself to what's her name? Sandra Bland or whatever.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
do
I'm
that.
not. No, I'm not. I'm just like it's unfortunate because like people see that the same shit happened to her on a much more like terrible degree. It's like she actually knew her rights like as a citizen and tried to plead her case and ultimately led to her in prison and ended up dying. Like,
well, that's always been
and that was Texas too.
That's always been the craziest shit is when people say when they say like you're under arrest and then they don't have a good reason to arrest you and then you're like, why am I under arrest? And then they act like, well, now you're resisting arrest.
Yep.
And it's like, even if I didn't have a reason to arrest you before, now I do because I could say you're resisting arrest. Yep. And they don't even need to hit you with an original charge. And it's like, well, that makes zero sense. That makes no sense at all.
Yep.
Yeah, because the thing is, dude, like, they're people. As much as, like, when you're a kid, you want to think, like, oh, they're wearing a badge. They have to be 100%. Like, do everything by the book, everything right. No way. Remember, there are times where me and you have been driving, and you're like, yo, cop, coming up, like on the right or whatever. And I was like, I just kept driving my normal ass speed. And my thinking was, that dude is probably just chilling, like eating a sandwich, watching like reruns of fucking Everybody Loves Raymond on his phone or something. Because he's a regular ass person. And it didn't look like he was in the mood to pull people over and stuff. Yeah. So Yeah, they're people, dude. They're people, and people like that's another
It's
reason why.
people, but like they make it so like intimidating, and it's just like it shouldn't be. It's a speeding ticket. Like, granted, they don't know what the person is like that they're pulling over and this and that, but I feel like there has to be a better approach. Like, they come to your
Well,
window and
there definitely should be a better approach to giving the ticket. I agree with that, but it's funny because there are places that have like almost no traffic laws, and it's
yeah.
fucking chaos, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that shit is chaos. Was it like that in DR when you went to DR?
Oh yeah, DR, you could do whatever the hell you want. I mean, like, yeah, they have lights, and I've seen dudes in 5-lane highways make a right turn from the 5th lane all the way on the right when the light turns green. I've seen cars with no windshields. I've seen cars, they have they don't run on gas, they run on something else. Like,
Ethanol?
but it's maybe or something. Maybe. Or propane?
Cars running on propane is insanely dangerous, I think.
Yes, I know. So that's the thing. Like, so my brother lived in this neighborhood, and we were playing basketball in the neighborhood, and one of the cars like pulled up and all the propane is, or I think it's propane, is in the trunk of the car, and someone like tail ended the car. So literally everybody just like, it was like some like dispersed shit. Everybody would just left because they thought the whole thing was going to blow up. It's super, super dangerous. And I'm pretty sure it's propane.
I've never even heard of that before, dude. I didn't know cars could run on propane.
I hope my brother, I think, still listens, and he'll text me and say, yo, it was propane. But he'll remember the car got tail-ended, and everybody bounced from the whole neighborhood because they thought that shit was going to explode.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, they are, like, out here, I was texting a kid who lives in Texas, and he was like, it's crazy because some of the highways are 80 miles per hour, and like 80 miles per hour is fast as shit. But like, and they probably even let you go faster than that,
Yeah, that's actually a good question is, like, in the U.S., we all know, generally, at least in New York, the speed limit is a little low, and then you're good to go like 5 miles an hour over it. Like, they won't mess with you if you do that. But wouldn't it make more sense to just have the speed limit higher and actually enforce it? You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't the speed limit on the highway be 80, and then when somebody actually goes 82, you pull them over? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, like, make it high.
Make it correct. Make the speed limit actually like what the limit is.
Yeah.
So, in other words, every 30-mile-an-hour road, just make it 40.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. And obviously, there's certain situations where a school zone or something, you want to go slower, or this or that. But just gets me mad that, like, if, and there wasn't a speed limit post sign, but the one that I saw was either 55 or 45. And the fact that, like, there's no way to fight it. Usually you can build a case or something like that, but you really can't do anything in this situation.
Yeah, not in, like, rural-ass Texas where, like you said, there's probably 7 cops total and then the judge, and they all know each other.
My brother has said that there's a podcast called This American Life that supposedly there was one on like an Ohio police department that was doing this and like got caught doing this or something like that.
Well, okay, you want to hear something fucked up, dude? You think this is bad? And this is bad. Like, this is a clear case of, like, corruption and them doing whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But civil asset forfeiture is the craziest shit ever. And think
What's
about
that
it, like...
now? I don't know what that is.
Okay, so even the name, like the name I just gave you right now, doesn't that sound official?
Hell yeah.
It sounds mad official, like, civil asset forfeiture. You know what it means? Cops are legally allowed to rob you. That's what that means.
Huh?
If they think that you're about to use your money or your property in a crime that you're about to commit, then they could just seize your property and seize your money and say, you were about to use it in a crime. And then you have no way of getting it back. So they could just take it and say, oh, this car here, and there was a bunch of money in the dash. We think it was about to be used in a drug deal. So they could just take it.
What?
They could just take it. And then there's no like official process for you to get it back. And it's literally, hold on, I'm about to tell you right now.
That's insane.
No, it's beyond insane. It's crazy. It's basically a way for cops to legally be allowed to rob poor people and people of color. Like, that's
Wow.
what it is. They just legally rob them. Okay, let me look this up. Civil asset forfeiture per year. Let me tell you the amount of money that they steal per year. Okay, this is crazy. This is an article from 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this? This is from the Washington Post. Legit as fuck. Oh, no, they hit me with the...
You got to buy this or something?
Okay. Law enforcement took more stuff from people than burglars did.
What?
It's literally... It's billions of dollars. Here's the chart. This is the chart I was looking for. Click this shit. Okay, in civil asset forfeiture, $5 billion.
Wow.
That's the amount of money that... Yeah, a little over $5 billion per year. And for burglars, they did like $3.9 billion per year.
Jesus.
So cops have stolen more money from people than burglars have stolen from people. So in other words, people with fucking badges and uniforms steal more than actual burglars do.
Well, even indirectly, he just stole $250 from me.
That's right. That's what that is. He just stole $250 from
and
me.
look
That's
at this
right.
shit. I want to get the ticket. Hold on.
Okay. Wait. He probably shouldn't show this. I don't know if he has his personal information on it. Yo. Don't because it might have your personal information on it.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to show the actual ticket, but I wanted to explain that it doesn't even say police on it. It says Texas Department of Public Safety. So that's not even the police department.
Texas.
Which almost like has me like he sort of Jedi'd me in some type of thing that he's a police officer when really he's just a Paul Blart mall cop.
The Texas Department of Public Safety is a department of the government of the state of Texas. DPS is responsible for statewide law enforcement and vehicle regulation. Yeah, so it's basically like...
So he's not even a cop, though?
No, he is a cop. It's it's like the traffic division of cops in Texas.
So he's a fucking... that guy's a
Oh,
fucking
yo,
bitch.
by the way, that is not the town government. That's the state, dude. That's the state that's G'ing you.
So the state of Texas is doing that?
The state of Texas is shaking you down, dog. The state of Texas is shaking you down. The Texas Department of Public Safety is a department of the government of the state of Texas. DPS is responsible for statewide law enforcement and vehicle regulation. Yeah.
He has to be working for, like, that town or something.
No, it's the state government. The Texas Department of Public Safety is like the state cops for vehicles, for traffic.
Yeah, he's a bozo. He couldn't have become a real cop, so he fucking became a...
That's where they send the people who probably like had already physically abused people when they were like dealing with.
Yeah. That's what they do to the NYPD people. It's like
we got to send Jerry to the fucking to that shit.
That was. You remember the movie with Mark Wahlberg where him and The Rock, I think it was.
Yeah. That was so funny when they just jumped off the building and died.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I was like, what? Like, what just happened?
Wait, who died in the beginning? Was it The Rock that like died in the first scene there? Or it was like somebody famous.
Somebody famous, I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I remember that there's one part, and it's like not even in the middle of the movie. Like it's
right at the beginning of the
a little bit in, like you're maybe 30% in the movie, and these are like the main characters, and then they just like run and jump off a building at one point.
You know, they filmed a scene of that right on Central Ave.
Yeah, right by the wing spot.
Yeah.
Hurricanes. Is that still in business? I don't even know.
Oh, Hurricanes went out in '88, or actually, no, I think they're out.
No, I think they did like renovation or something. No, but they might be out by now because I'm thinking back like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and then there's Rudy's across the street, which has gone downhill. But Hurricanes, I'd been there a couple times, but before Hurricanes took over, what was the name of that movie? Can't even remember it. Yeah, once you say it, I'll remember it.
Mark Wahlberg.
But they're sitting
The
in that
Rock
plaza,
movie.
like right to the right of it, and they blow up Pastinas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Will Ferrell was the other guy.
Will Ferrell was the other guy. That's right.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
Will Ferrell. When they jump off the building. The Other Guys, it's called.
The other guys. But
I remember being in the theater. I watched that in the theater. It's a rare movie I saw in the theater, and I was like, The fuck just happened? They died, and they're supposed to be the main characters.
He what the hell was I just gonna say? Oh, he was like a well-respected cop, but then does something, and then he's like, "We got to put you on traffic duty."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like he's like dancing in the street and stuff. Like, so this cop definitely like beat someone or something like that, and now they put him on public safety, and he's got to come after people like me.
Now he's fucking with you, man. It's
like,
fucked
what do
up. So you're in Texas in May, and that's hurricane season, dog. I'm not hurricane, tornado. My bad. That's tornado season.
Well, it's raining. It's like monsoon raining. It's
yeah,
like bad.
Those thunderstorms in Texas in May do not fuck around.
Here's my question, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, but maybe there's like a farmer that listens to our podcast or something like that. Wintertime, crazy thunderstorms and all this stuff, like all of these huge farms that I drive by with like cows for days and bulls and sheep and all this shit. There can't be like a stable for all those like cows. Like, where do they go in the wintertime, and where do they go in like crazy thunderstorms?
No, they do. They have some indoor shit. They do. It's
but like, dude, I don't think have you seen? I've driven past some farms that it just like there's random cows everywhere. Like, it goes for beyond miles. Like, it's insane.
Well, I've never seen like
it's some Oklahoma
shoulder
shit.
to shoulder cows for miles or anything like that.
No, I've seen like spread out shit. Like, I'll see one cow here, I'll drive 5 miles and then see another shit. Like,
yeah, they usually
like,
have something that they could go in. It's not like they're just chilling in a field when there's a tornado next door.
But like, how the fuck does the barn owner like rattle all these cows and shits in? Like,
when they want to eat, they probably just keep the food in there, and then when they're hungry, they kind of mosey over there.
I think you're underestimating how like large of landscape that I've seen. Where I'm like,
I know you've driven around this entire country. Maybe the only shit you haven't driven is everywhere like west. Like, you haven't necessarily driven all through Utah.
No.
And all through Oregon. Like,
yeah, none of that shit.
Yeah, but you've driven all the Northeast done, the South done, the Midwest done.
Yep.
So just a little bit on the West you kind of haven't.
Yeah, like that upper to like little lower.
Yeah, the Northwest and the West,
yeah.
and then the Mid Northwest.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you haven't been in Idaho.
No.
Yeah.
But I've been to some shit where I'm like, when it gets really cold outside, like, where are all these cows going? Or like, there can't be a barn that's big enough for all of these shits.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm always amazed just by looking at and seeing how people live when it's like a little ass town in the middle of nowhere. Like, I find that fascinating because it's just so different from what I'm used to.
100%.
But also, to be fair, on the other end of the spectrum, I don't like it either. Like, cities are too much. Like, being in New York City, you literally you will always hear shit at night. It's inescapable. You're going to hear some car driving. You're going to hear some weird fucking construction noise. You're going to hear a car alarm go off in the distance. You will not, there's no silence in the city. It's always alive. 100%. And it's always lit up, too. And that's too much for me. It's too much energy. It just makes me feel weird. And then the other end of the spectrum is too depressing. When it's like your nearest neighbor's like 3 miles away.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. So when it's dark at night, son.
It's a little scary.
It's dark as fuck. And you could see every star in the sky.
Yup.
And that's when you realize, like, oh, our ancestors were scared of the dark because they could get, like, eaten or some shit in the dark. When you're looking out at, like, a forest and you see nothing but darkness, you're like, oh, I'm a vulnerable little bitch right now. A bear could just come eat me.
Yep.
But I can't fuck with either extreme vibe. I'm quite literally, like, a suburb.
Oh, no, I'm the same thing with a suburb. But, like, it's so true of, like, the old myth, not a myth, but, like, a tale of two cities. Like, me being from New York, and then I'll go to, like, Nashville, and I'll go, like, outside of Nashville into some small town or some shit, and, like, go to a random diner that, like, only locals go to, but I'll walk in that shit just because I sort of like finding, like, obscure spots like that. Like, I went to one spot in Nashville. I sat down. There was no menu. She was just like, what are you having?
Oh, shit. That's so cool.
Yeah, I sort of was just like, can I get a cheddar cheese omelet with some home fries and the biscuit and some bacon? She was like, yep, coming up. You want coffee? I was just like,
Oh
uh,
shit.
yeah, like she had, if I would have said like, can you make me my mama's pancakes with some butter that she uses and then give me a bacon, egg, and cheese, and a Big Mac and some large size McDonald's fries, she'd be like, what else? I'd be like, you got Burger King chicken nuggets back there? She'd be like, anything else? Like it almost like she hit me with some like, whatever you say, I'm gonna have that shit.
Oh my
And the
god.
fucking restaurant was like this big, but she made it seem so fucking cool that she had everything on the menu.
See, that's interesting, man. I've never been like a big traveler person, but when
Yeah,
you tell stories like that, there's something charming about that.
it
Like
was awesome.
you
Yeah,
just go into a random diner in like the middle of Iowa,
yeah.
and they're like, they just bless you.
And you see, like people don't think that like I mean, people from New York probably don't think that people like fuck with us. But I went to one spot in Texas, and the Rockets game was on, and I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I sit under the TV?" Or well, I went in there first, ordered. The dude was sort of giving me the cold shoulder, this and that. But then I sat down. I was like, he put me in one spot. I was like, "You mind if I sit by the TV and watch like the game?" He was like, "As long as you're not rooting for Golden State." I was like, "Oh, doesn't matter. I'm a Knicks fan anyway. I'm from New York." And he was like, "Oh, oh, you from New? Oh, well, what do you think about Kevin Durant?" And I was just like he was fucking with me so much
I
more. 'Cause
wonder
he
why.
was from New York.
You think he knows somebody from New York, or he is from New York, or
I think people that haven't been to a big city like New York just have this impression of it. Like, damn, they're city slickers. They're smooth talking. They're smooth. Like I think there's just a cool factor to that. You know?
yeah, that's so funny because being like we grew up 20 minutes outside of New York City,
Yeah.
so we don't think anything of it.
No, but
Yeah.
like we were like people were like, oh, you're not like we're from New York, like 15, 20 minutes from the Bronx and like Manhattan and like
Oh,
Harlem.
100%, because everybody like my mom grew up in the Bronx.
Exactly.
Like, so there's still, even though we technically grew up just outside of New York, literally the county right next to it,
Yeah.
it's still, it's
And
still like just, it's right there and it's part of, that flavor still impacts you.
exactly. And
Yeah.
we're not missing like when the Bronx or Harlem or Brooklyn starts a trend, we'll pick that shit up 20 minutes later in Westchester.
Dude,
It's
that's
like
something I was amazed by, figuring out just how far behind other parts of the country are on that
yeah.
type of shit, like cultural shit. And
Yep.
I'm somebody who's like established as not giving a fuck about that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
still, having said that, it was amazing to me whenever I've gone outside of the New York bubble, like they're literally 2 years behind
100%.
on stuff like that. And you're like, oh, well, that's weird.
Yep. Try going to Dominican Republic or some shit. Like so I probably haven't been there in, I don't know, 3, 4 years or something like that. But when I went out there 4 years ago, like they were just picking up Facebook. So like now they're probably huge on like Snapchat or something out there, like something that we've had for a while. Like they're like,
But
if you
that's
think,
probably more of a just like a they're a developing country, so that's
yeah,
probably more of a poverty thing than anything else. But like literally, when you go to whatever some rural ass place in Virginia or something,
yeah,
the songs that they will play on the radio stations there, even on the news stations, are like
yeah,
2 years old.
yeah, that's true.
Whereas our shit is like immediate. Whatever the thing is that just came out, you're immediately gonna get it in New York.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's weird, and it's wild. I mean, like we're the mecca of where everything happens. So like if something releases from an artist, they're gonna do it first in New York, like all these big cities. Where if you don't live in a big city, you're asked out. Like you're finding out about this shit way later.
So that it's funny because there's like an industrious vibe. You know what I mean? Like a creative vibe
Hmm.
to the city. But I also definitely heavily fuck with the lazy ass vibe. You know what I mean? And there's places in the country that are still just on some chillin' shit.
Yeah.
But see, the problem with that though is, for somebody like me, it'll be maybe 10 o'clock at night one day and I'll be like, I gotta get something to eat. But in some rural ass town somewhere, you can't just go get something to eat at 10 o'clock.
No.
Like, everything is shut down.
I don't think you like it as much as you think, that like lazy type of shit. Because like,
yeah, I want other people to be on their shit.
yes.
And then me, every now and then, I can dabble in the lazy.
But even as lazy as you are, like when you go to California, and I've seen you in California, but interacting with a Californian who's like, their lazy scale is like, puts your shit like you're like a Wall Street banker compared to their lazy in California. Like, I'm telling you, dog, like the way you speak is faster, the way you want to get an answer is faster.
Oh,
you know,
I've
like,
always been like that. Yeah,
but
I'm
think,
to the point, dog.
Yeah. No, but when you say like your lazy factor, I think the West Coast has us times a million on lazy factors.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I was asking a dude, like just a banging food spot right around where he was standing, and he was like, "Oh, bro, oh man, there's this spot," and I was just like, "Top of your head, first shit that comes to mind," and he was like, "Oh, there's a burger spot right there." I was like, "Boom, thank you, that's all I needed."
I think the reason why we feel maybe we have that lazy factor is that we're so used to being in an environment where everybody's always on the move, on the go, 24/7, super industrious, creative, working, going, like waking up and going after it. That energy's around you 24/7. So every now and then you're just like, yo, pump the brakes. Like, I got to chill a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? Like when you're always surrounded by that, it just gets overwhelming. It's like, oh, everybody just fucking just relax a little bit. God damn it.
You back?
Yeah. Did we pause for a second?
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I mean, I know what you're saying, but then once you get that full stop of like when I was on the West Coast and everything is laid back, I almost was just like, I sort of appreciate my other shit a little bit more. Like, it's nice for a day to have like a little peace and laziness and like low key shit, but then after a while you're like, you guys are moving too slow for me.
Yeah, I mean, although...
And I don't want to shit on the West Coast that bad because, I mean, it's cool out there.
No, when we've been in LA, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we were doing really cool shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that might have been a part of it. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like all big cities give you somewhat of a similar vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if we go to Oklahoma City or something, you'll still get a little bit of that vibe from Oklahoma City. Because it's like a big-ass bustling city.
Yeah, I had that like observation like when I was driving too. Like, so Texas, like Austin seemed pretty like, you know, like with the times. There's
yeah, 100%. They have that. They definitely have that. What's it called? I'm blanking on the word. Reputation, I guess. They have that reputation.
Well, there's
really
like
creative.
there's gay people, there's black people, there's, you know, white people, there's Spanish people. Like, it's just a melting pot of everything. They're educated, but then when I'm driving on like these roads that like it's just farmland and like a church, and then like you drive 20 miles and then there's another church.
You're saying in Austin or just outside of Austin?
No, like outside of Austin.
Yeah, outside
like,
of Austin.
Austin's cool. Like, they understand what's going on. I'm sure if you went to like University of Texas, everyone would know who you were because they're just up on, you know, like they're more educated. Whereas once you start going outside of Texas into like these smaller towns where it's, you know, a church and then 20 miles another church, and it's just so, you know, so open, there's not like many outlets for you to find, you know, different ideas, you know. So like your neighbor is probably going to go to the same church as you and believe the same believe the same shit as you about God, and you know, same political theories and this and that. Whereas when you're in like downtown Austin, you could talk to someone else with a differing of opinion or something like that, you know. And that's when,
yeah, the more rural you go, the more it feels like civilization just started, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I felt like that, you know, when we take that drive every now and then up to the Catskills to go to the casino. Once you get past a certain point, you see that. Like, you look around and you see, like, you know, a restaurant that has a sign that just says restaurant.
Yeah.
And you see, you know, it'll be a lot of empty space and then like a random barn and then a lot of empty space and then like an old rickety house. And you're like, oh, this feels like civilization just started not even that long ago here.
Yeah.
That this shit looks the way it looks right now, it looked exactly like this in 1945.
Yep.
You know, it just there hasn't been all that much development.
And it's hard to blame them, but it's just like...
No, I want both those options. I want those vibes. I want to be able to pick every now and then and enter the different worlds. Where sometimes you want to enter that bustling city life. Sometimes you want to enter that rural-ass, nothing's happening life. Sometimes you want to be in the middle.
But then you get, like, uneducated people, and it's not their fault, but, like, if they live there, like, if I have a house, I'm going there every night because I live there. That's my house. Where can I find... if the newspaper, if it's a local newspaper, everyone who writes for this shit is going to have the same ideas as you. Like, where can you find other opinions?
Well, that's why there's a lot of people who are born in that context who then want to get out.
Yeah.
And they want to, maybe live in the city, or they go to a place like Austin or whatever. That happens with a lot of people, man. It does. That's a very common occurrence where people are born into a situation and they just feel like nothing's happening here, and they just want to go and sort of make something happen and grow and see other stuff. But again, I like both of those things. And a lot of those people, while you're right, okay, so that they're not necessarily up culturally and they may not necessarily be as educated, but a lot of those people, like, think about it, they really make the country run in a way if they're farmers and they're fucking...
Dunkins. America runs on Dunkins.
America runs on Dunkins and random-ass people from rural-ass parts of the country who give us our food. Potatoes and fucking corn and whatever. But yeah, like, people who just kind of wake up at, like, dawn, go do their work, and they're done working at, like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're asleep by, like, 8 o'clock at night.
So you think we need people like that?
Oh, hell yeah, we need people like that. We need people who are really organized and are structured and just go do their trade and then they're done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people like that, man. Like, they're doing their campaign and they're doing the Iowa's the first contest for 2020 for the election. Yeah. And there's a caucus there. So Bernie and all the candidates there are, like, in Iowa now. And they're going to, like, the fucking state fair, and they're going to random-ass diners, and they're talking to people. And Iowa's just full of people like that. Like, that's all of Iowa, is just salt-of-the-earth people who just get up, work, do their shit, and then are asleep by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's like, there's something to be said for that, man. I mean, it's not what I'm used to. It's not what I grew up in, but I can see how... And by the way, I'm sure the dynamic also works in the opposite direction sometimes. Like, we spoke about the kid who's raised in that scenario, and then they want to go to a city. But vice versa happens too, man, where somebody might be born in the city. There's like, I just want to get away from all this noise and shit, and then they might settle down in a place like that. Dave Chappelle did that. He moved to, like, a random place in Ohio and bought, like, a farm because he was so tired of, like, the bullshit of the city where he was always busy and surrounded by fucking hucksters and shit, and he's like, I just want to get away.
Yeah, he has a different, like, path than other people. He had a lot of money where he could do that. It's harder.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper to live in Ohio.
Yeah, but, like, if someone's from the city and they just want to move to Ohio and get a farm or some shit, like, where can they fucking work?
Well, for a guy like Dave Chappelle, he just does comedy every now and then. But yeah, for a lot of people, where are you going to work? That's the thing. Where are you going to work when you go to a lot of these random places?
Yeah, like, hey, are you hiring for any, like, cow milkers or some shit? Like, I'm sure that's not a lucrative fucking profession.
Yeah, and that's also why city, there's a direct correlation between, like, income level and whether it's a city, suburban area versus rural area. There's just not as many jobs there. And then also that's reflected in prices, that's reflected in home prices.
Yep.
So,
that diner I went to, it was like all that food was like fucking $4.95.
Exactly.
It was crazy.
Meanwhile, you can't get dick for that in the city.
Hell no.
Not even
close. Coffee would be like more than $4.75 or some shit.
So before I came on to do this, I committed an ant genocide.
Oh, you have mad ants in your house? Ants in your pants?
Ants in the pants? Yeah. It was crazy. It was like I went to go pee. And I'm just like half asleep. I look over, I'm like, oh shit, in the sink in the bathroom, there was like 20 little ants.
What?
I was like, fuck. And then I saw a trail going from the window. And then it went like across and then down into the sink where in like the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my God. First of all, I'm terrified of bugs and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
So my reaction is to like scream and run away like a bitch. But what I did is I got some Raid, and then I said, it's about to go down. And I just straight...
You went to war?
I murked every single one of those fuckers. And since I know the exact trail and exactly where they came from, I just straight stood there and sprayed in the spot where they were coming from for a hot minute.
That fucking epicenter is probably somewhere way deeper than you think that shit is out.
Don't even say that, dog. Don't even say that. I killed all of them.
I feel you. You probably made it like... You probably decimated their shit. But the fucking king is still down in his shit, like regrouping his troops right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, so I spoke to my mom about it, and she was like, oh, you got to get these little, like, gel traps or whatever.
Yeah, those little square
things. I was
things.
like, okay, I'll get those. But I was just like, I'm just going to be a fucking soldier in this battle, dog.
And just keep fucking raiding the fuck out of it?
Have that raid, like, right next to all the other shit in the bathroom. Like, okay, toothpaste, Listerine, Raid, and just straight go to war.
You're going to wake up one morning and, like, take the Raid and be like, shh.
Oh, my God, that'd be so bad. Oh, that'd be so bad. But honestly, and not for nothing, knock on wood, there was a hot minute where I thought I had termites. And I did not, thank goodness. I did not have termites, but I do have ants. And ants are, like, the least bad thing. You don't want termites, and you don't want cockroaches.
Yeah.
That's
ants, I mean, I feel like that's normal. They come from it's probably warmer out, so they're probably starting to show more. My last hotel, there were ants on the fucking sink and shit like that. Like,
yeah, it's this time of year that shit happens in New York.
You can't. I mean, like my old house in New Rochelle, they had raccoons in the fucking ceiling in the attic.
What?
Like there was like some baby raccoons and stuff like that. Like they found, I think, raccoons. Yeah.
There was one time, when I was a kid, in our basement. Our basement gave us so many fucking headaches, dog. There was a skunk that crawled under the deck, and then died.
Oh my God!
And so it smelled like fucking garbage for a solid like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Damn.
And then we had to call the exterminator, and the exterminator was like crawling in that area. It's like the worst deck ever because underneath it, it's not enough room for you to crawl under, but it's also enough room for an animal to get under there. It was just built so stupid. Like, you want to either do it so nothing can get under there, or a person could get under there. But it was like it was like a crawl space where it was so hard, and then the exterminator got rid of it. In that basement, we also had insane flooding back in the day, man. I don't know if you remember
I used to go to, right?
Yes, that basement used to flood like
basement?
a motherfucker, dog. When I was a kid, this was before we knew each other, because we met each other in 6th grade, right? It was 6th grade? Yeah. I think it was 6th grade. 6th or 7th? Yeah, 7th. 7th.
Because I moved in 7th, yeah.
It was when I was a kid, and I remember one time, I was like, I think my mom or dad woke me up, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And they were like, all hands on deck. We need help. I was like, what? What do you mean? And so I go downstairs. Dog, it was coming down like it was Niagara Falls. Where
like it was the soda fountain?
Yes, like it was diarrhea. The window was just broken down, and the water was pouring into the basement. And it was up, as a kid, it was up to my knees, dude.
Damn.
It was crazy. And then we were using like a fucking wet vac or something to try to get it out. We were like vacuuming it and then pouring it.
How are you not like, I don't want to do this shit?
Oh, that's exactly what I said, man. That's exactly. I was like, I don't want to do this shit, but I did help ultimately.
Like if I saw that, I would have turned around and been like, no, parents, that's on you to call some motherfucker to, like, this isn't our job.
No, that is definitely, even as a little ass kid, that's what was going on in the back of my mind. It's like, I want to be sleeping. Why are you wasting my time? Like, let's have a professional fix this. But no, it was one of those things where if we just let it go, who knows how high it could have gotten, dude.
Damn.
It was insane. It was like a legit basement flooding type situation.
You know what I think about? Like, what if you just left that shit? Eventually, when it got sunny, it would have went away eventually.
Mold, dude. Imagine you just let the water sit in the basement. Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, eventually, it's got to go away.
Somebody told me this story. And he works in like construction and stuff. And he was telling me about how at the place where I grew up in the little like complex area, One woman, like, this dude went to go do work for this older woman, like, and she's kind of stubborn. My mom liked her because she was like easy to talk to, even though she was stubborn as fuck. And so he was doing some work or whatever in the basement, and he said he was just doing some regular shit, and he saw like the wall just slowly fall down.
What?
And he was like, what the fuck? And then he looked, dude, the whole fucking wall covered in black mold.
Oh.
Just dripping in fucking black mold. And that shit is deadly when there's a lot of it. And so he went to go tell her. He was like, yo, you got to do something about this. And she was like, no, put the wall back. And he was like, what? Like, what do you mean? You have black, like, you need this addressed ASAP. And she was like, it's all right. Put the wall back.
My gosh.
And so she passed away 'cause she was old. But then, like, people moved in, and he was saying, the next people passed away. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, somebody's got to go remove that mold, dog. Like, what the fuck are you saying?
They're probably all dying from that black mold.
That's what I'm
shit.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I was like, yo, you got to contact, like, the fucking Board of Health or something. That's crazy. But I thought that was so insane where
crazy.
He was explaining to her, like, listen, you have mold. That you have to get rid of this. And she was just like, He said when you walk down into the basement, you hit a wall of stench. Like, you know that basement smell, that, like, musty fucking... He was like, you hit a wall of the grossest, most powerful basement smell you've ever smelled in your life. And that's what it was. It was that. It was the mold. It was just overpowering.
I sort of fuck with that lady, though, because if I'm, like, 80-something and someone was like, you got this on your... I'll be like, put the wall back. Like, put the shit back on. It's fine. Is the wall standing? Good. All right, leave it.
No, you did not just say that, dog. I mean, I hear you. Like... I kind of fuck with it too, but it's also just stupid when it's deadly. Like, it's one thing if it's not deadly and it's just whatever, but it's another thing if it's deadly.
Like, here's my thing about a roof. Like...
Nobody's ever said that sentence in human history. All right, look, here's the thing about a roof. Do we really need it?
A roof. No, like, for real. Like, people say, oh, you need a new roof. Like, this shit still, like, covers you. It's still, like blocking... shit from coming through.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. How you gotta you gotta get new shingles every however many years.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I get annoyed because, like, my mom will often tell me, like, oh, you gotta keep up with this thing, you gotta keep up with this thing, and I'm always like, certain things I'm just like, you are super bugging. Like, one of them is, apparently, the tile I have in my bathroom needs upkeep and it needs to be, like, refinished or something. I'm like,
fuck that.
That's just not happening. Like, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to fucking lose my bathroom for a day and a half or 2 days because somebody's got to refinish the tile. You fucking kidding?
That's
like, no
not
way. And she's like, nah, you got to... I'm bad, though, because sometimes, like, with the AC and the heat, I won't service it as much as I need to, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that shit's overrated, too. Like, that's just so people have jobs, so they keep fixing your shit.
I don't know. Maybe not. Like, some of the things like filter, like, you need to replace the filter a decent amount of time, you know?
Yes, yeah, the filter I could see. That shit gets dusty. It's like, yeah.
But you know me. I whatever I'm supposed to do every year, it'll be every 2.5.
If that.
Yeah, like, it'll be every 2.5. Even with the dentist, like, I'll get a thing in the mail from the dentist, like, okay, time for your shit. And I'll just be like, word.
Yeah.
And then I just don't do it. Like,
same.
That's the way I get away with it, is that in my mind, I'm like, oh, no, true, I gotta go to that shit. And then I just won't, call. But, like, it's my mind playing a trick on me to allow me to get out of it by saying, like, oh, no, that's true. Like, I gotta do that. And then I just don't do it. As opposed, if I was like, nah, I'm not doing that, then my mind would make me feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm just like, nah. Then my mind's like, oh, come on, man. Are you that stupid? But if I fuck with it, I'm like, yeah, that's true. But then I just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Then I feel fine.
So what makes you ultimately do it? Saying that you don't have to do it?
Honestly, it's eventually when my mom bugs me enough.
My
mom will call me and be like listen, you gotta do it.
And you're like, all right, maybe I should do it.
Yeah.
That gives you like another week, and then you're like, all right, then I should do it.
Yeah, like, there's a point, it gets to a point where if I know every time I'm going to talk to my mom, she's going to bring it up, then eventually I can't keep saying, like, oh yeah, I'll do it next week. Eventually it's like, I got to do it.
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, true. I get messages from my dentist office, and my teeth are pretty good. Like, I'll brush them all the time, but like Molly takes really good care of her teeth, but she'll always have some shit going on with her teeth, like a cavity or something, because she just got thin whatever on her teeth or something.
Dude,
Like,
it's
there's
crazy. I've only had like one or two cavities in my life.
same, and I like people see
Yeah.
the shit we eat,
Yep.
but I'll get messages from my dentist like, "Hey, I don't know if you're going somewhere else, but you need to do some shit." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not. I'm just good with my teeth right
I
now."
don't know if you're going somewhere else. That's
That's what the lady
hilarious.
said on my last shit. I was just like, "Can she say that?"
It's like you're back in high school and you're playing the game with your
Yeah.
fucking dentist. Like you're like, yo, don't text back. Like wait like an hour and that's
I don't know if you're seeing other dentists. I'm like, nah, you still my dentist. I'm just chilling. My teeth are good right now.
How often do you go to the doctor?
I haven't been to the doctor in a hot minute.
Yeah, like that's another thing that I try to do like every 2 years the most. But the problem is the doctor I used to go to, she like stopped being a doctor or whatever.
Hmm.
And then I'm just like, I don't even know this new dude.
Yeah, I don't like new people. I mean, I told people know the story about me going to that fucking faith healer doctor that put a shot in me that still gets me nervous.
Super weary. The dude was like, what did he say?
Like, what do you, I don't even fucking know. There was like a survey of questions that were just so weird.
He said some crazy shit, right? About like crystals or something? What did he say?
He's like, we put these crystals in my butthole.
He's like, do you mind if I give you a happy ending after I take your blood pressure? And you were like, sure. I mean, if you
It's like,
want.
the only way we can heal this is if you put your finger in my butthole. Like, wait, what? You need my finger in your butthole for me to get healed? All right.
Oh, oh.
Uh,
What was I watching recently? That was the Michael Jackson documentary. Did we talk about that at all?
I think so, or unless I said to just you separately that like, why are people so amazed that he was a child molester? Like the dude had a fucking playground in his backyard.
Yeah. Okay, so we spoke about it, just not on the podcast, right? Did we talk about it
Yeah,
on the podcast?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I watched the full documentary, the Michael
Uh-huh.
Jackson shit,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy,
And,
but
and
like
I know it's fucked up, but I kind of blame the parents.
100%, they fucking knew what their kids are getting into going into Michael Jackson's house.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's a molester, so fuck him, but the parents
Yes,
should have
yes.
known better. Like, they should have known you don't,
Yes.
even if it's a fucking pop star, you don't leave your kid alone with 30-year-old men, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Like, why would you
Oh.
do that? Why would the fuck? Why? Because he's famous? You think he's like. That,
Yeah, they definitely take some of the blame for that shit too. A lot of those parents are fucking savages. Like you see it on all these shows of like kid teen pageant and like
Yeah, like, that's the thing, is they were trying to get their kid famous. And so they were
100%.
fine with like, oh, cool, yeah, you're friends with Michael Jackson now. Oh, isn't that cool? Oh, he wants you to have a sleepover party in his fucking room? Well, that's not weird, even though he's a 30-some-odd-year-old man. Sure, go right ahead. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's some of the blame too. I mean the majority of that shit goes to Michael Jackson for being a fucking creep, but like those parents had to have gone to sleep thinking like there was definitely a conversation where they're like, "Hey Betty, you think some weird shit's going on with Michael Jackson and our son?" And she was like, "Eh, he's
You know how he did it too, right? Like what he did?
no."
He would go to these events where they would have like a dance off as to who could be the best Michael Jackson dancer. And it would be all these like young kids doing it. And there would always be like one or two standout kids who can really dance like Michael Jackson. And they would like do his moonwalk and stuff and do everything he does. And so what Michael would do is when he saw like a really good dancer who could copy him well, he would like invite them to his hotel
Oh,
room and he would
God.
make friends, not just with the little boy, but he would befriend the family. And what he would do is the crazy thing is he was playing the long game, dude. Like he would become friends with the kid, friends with the entire family, the mom, the dad, the fucking other kids, and he would like start having play dates with them and go hang out with them and do it like relatively often. And he would call the kids pretty often and he would talk to them and he would develop a relationship with everybody. and then he would invite them to his Neverland Ranch thing, and he would treat the whole family good. And then it was like a long game thing. Like he was investing time so that he was thinking in his mind, like a month from now, I might be able to get this kid alone in my room.
Jesus.
And then
That's sick.
The dudes went into like excruciating detail about what he would do.
Oh, I don't even want to hear that shit.
Yeah,
Like
I'm sure.
I don't like. I don't even like hearing that shit. Does nothing for me because like he's dead. Those kids have to live with that shit. Like that whole Sandusky shit that came out. Like those stories were just it's fucking terrible because you know that there's publicists. You know that there's his agents and like all these people that know all of that shit that's going on, but that turn a blind eye to that shit that are somewhere living fucking conscious free of that shit. You know, like
what's interesting is that two of the kids,
mm-hmm.
the two kids that they follow in this movie,
mm-hmm.
they were the kids who not only were molested by him, and at the time they were like, they didn't know it was molesting. They thought it like, oh, it's just me and Michael, and this is what we do. This is how we show our love for each other or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they had testified for him in court cases about this. And they was, nope, he never touched me. Nope, he's always treated us right. And then basically what this movie is them coming out and saying like, yeah, he did all of it. And
Jeez.
they just now, like at this late ass date, they just finally came to terms with it. Because they thought, it was clear that they both thought like, no, he actually really loves me and cares for me and he cares for my family and it was fine and it wasn't abuse. Like they had convinced themselves it wasn't abuse. And then now, years later, they finally come to terms with it. And then now, because their lives they were describing how like something was always wrong. They couldn't figure it out. Like they got married and they had kids, like these two guys in the shit, respectively. They each had their own families but they were like super depressed and like self-loathing and miserable. And then finally they like came out with it and basically explained what happened to them.
Damn.
And, yeah. And that's why a lot of people are still acting like, no, he didn't do it. And they'll get mad at you for even talking about it. And they'll use that as evidence. Like, oh no, the dudes who said he did it now said he did. Argued for Michael in court.
Ugh.
So I don't know. Everybody's got to watch and make up their own mind. But all I'll say is it seems pretty convincing. And your point, which is funny but also really true, is he did have a fucking like carnival in his backyard.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, what else? What other tell do you need than that? Like, I'm not building some shit for little fucking kids if I don't like little fucking kids. Like.
Yeah.
Like, if I really enjoy watching football or some shit, I'm going to build a football and I got, like, mad money, I'm going to build a football stadium at my crib.
Yeah, and then you're going to try to get Tom Brady to come over and you'll jerk him off.
Yeah, exactly. No, but, like, it's just, like, it's so obvious. It's almost like when I was younger, I feel like even on Easter or some shit like that, like parents will hide the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And they like hide it in obscure spots. And I'm like, just put that shit in the middle of the table. Like they'll never find that because they're going to be looking under chairs and walls and all this shit. But it's just like, it's hiding. It's like the hiding spot is right in front of your eyes and you're just so dumb or just like, you're just like, don't want to see that shit right in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I know what you're saying. I have bad news for me.
Wait, before you tell the poll results, there's some shit on Netflix, and I watched about half of it. It's called The Carter Effect.
The Carter Effect?
Yeah, it's on Vince Carter. It's like a documentary.
Oh, I'll definitely peep that.
It's so dope. It shows how he like changed the culture of basketball. This shit is hot.
Dude, I love documentaries.
Yeah.
And sports documentaries in particular.
In it, like his early... Yeah, McGrady, like his early Toronto years and how like he's cousins with Vince Carter. Like this shit was hot.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. Vince Carter's still playing, son.
Yeah, people get mad at him because like he's taking a roster spot from someone who like could earn that shit or something.
What the fuck? But he's still good and he could still dunk and shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he's like a veteran leader. He's lucky that the Hawks have him on his roster because I don't think a lot of other teams would give him a chance.
I don't know, man. You know what? Jason Kidd swayed me on this when he joined the Knicks more than anything. But like a grizzled veteran is better than a young run and gunner because they know how to actually role play and help the team.
Yeah, that's
you know
a
what
good
I mean?
point.
Totally unselfish, totally knows what they're supposed to do and to play their role, and they're okay with that. Like I'm sure that's what Vince Carter is doing right now.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Kid would still had Kid had he was like on a little less than 1/4 of a tank of gas. Carter's shit is like on E. I feel like because he never really had a jump shot.
How
or
old
anything
is he?
like that. He's like 42 or some shit like that.
Damn, 42. That's in basketball years. That's old as fuck.
Yeah, he's like 40, 41, or 42 or some
Damn,
shit.
Tiger's 43, and he plays golf, and
Like that. He needs to do. We didn't even talk about Tiger, but he needs to do some shit with his hair ASAP.
that's every time we talk about Tiger. That's the first thing you mention is his hair.
No, but his shit looks too fucked up. Like you can't get pictures with the president getting like some metal on your neck that's gonna get hung up somewhere.
What's so funny is he's standing next to Donald Trump, and you have more of a problem with Tiger's hair than Donald Trump's hair.
Tiger's shit is. I don't even like. I've been away from the news and like shit happening. There was like an explosion like 15 minutes from where I live. It was like, but the news I saw, Tiger needs to do something with that fucking.
Wait,
like he's got too much
there was
money.
an explosion by where you live?
There was like some silicone factory or some shit.
Oh shit!
In Gurney, that like there was a big explosion and supposedly someone died.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and I'm worried because like I don't really know what silicone does, but like, is it bad for the environment that like a whole?
That's what they make fake tits out of.
Yeah, so that can't be good blowing up and like just being out in the air and shit. Like there's got to be some shit in there.
I know. One day you and Molly are gonna wake up one day and look out the window and there's gonna be a big ass titty looking right back at you.
I'm gonna have a titty that's growing out of my cheek or something like that.
No, but seriously, I hope that's safe.
So do I.
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, the Tiger thing. I actually really liked Trump's speech.
All right, I didn't hear
because he went through like all of Tiger's career, and you know I'm such a big Tiger fan, and he actually kind of did it justice. He was kind of good, like explaining everything, and I was like, "Damn, you're sort of breaking it down right now." But one part everybody went in on him for is he was like, and then in 2018, he won the tour championship, and he said something like, "People forget about this." And people on Twitter were like, nobody fucking forgot about it. What are you saying? But, like, not for nothing, though. I think he was trying to say that the Masters win overrode the win at the Tour Championship last year. And that's kind of true.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
yep.
But everybody was trying to get at him like, you said something stupid. And it's like, no, he was trying to say that the Masters win overrode the win last year. Like, that's what he means. Well, people forgot about that. That's Trump speak for, like, yeah, that shit, nobody's talking about that anymore because of the Masters.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? But yeah, everybody is gonna hate on Tiger because he accepted the award from Trump. But like, what would you want him to do? Say no?
That's what I'm saying. I can't blame him. And I'm trying to think right now. Like Obama gave awards to like athletes and stuff. Like
he gave it to Charlie Sifford, who was like the first black player on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, like Tiger has accolades. I mean, like he is still a black golfer and had to fucking endure a lot of shit that a lot of other golfers probably didn't have to. You know,
the first year he won the Masters. There's this old white dude, Fuzzy Zeller, who said in an interview, he was like, that's wonderful, do me a favor and tell them not to serve fried chicken and watermelon at the next year's dinner because the winner gets to pick the dinner for the next year. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I liked it.
Did you see the Nike commercial?
No, there's a new Nike commercial?
Well, no, like it was like the one that happened after the Masters where like I guess they interviewed Tiger and he was just like, I want to win the Masters the most or something because like they don't allow
for a black golfer the history the Masters for the longest time because they're deep in the deep South they had fucked up shit with race like it was I think they let the first black player play in the Masters in like in the 1980s. Yeah, because think about it, 1964, 65 Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act was so you're talking fucking almost 2 decades after that. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so Tiger gets there in 97, blows the field away, dog. Blows them away by 12 strokes. He wins his first major by 12 strokes.
Yeah.
So
My connection's poor. Let's do the constipation and diarrhea.
Yeah. All right. So you were right by a lot.
What was
66% say diarrhea.
I might have said 66% in the last fucking chat.
34% constipation. I gotta say, everybody let me down on this one, man.
Nah, just take the L, man, and own it.
Let's read some of the comments. I want to read some. Somebody said diarrhea for life. Somebody says, I have IBS. Trust me, it's way better having bowel movements than being unable to poop. Sounds like the 2024 Republican ticket. The second option is at least relief, somebody says. This is philosophically interesting. Like, constantly or just once, somebody asked.
That's a good point.
That depends on how many diarrheas. A first...
Did he spell that? Did he spell diarrhea right?
Let's see. Let me go back and check. Yeah, they did.
Nice.
Because I had it laid out for them right there, so they just had to look at.
True.
Yeah,
true.
Can I pick 76% constipation with a 90% guarantee of a 24% gradual diarrhea? What?
What?
All right, let me find one more.
Oh.
I've had both. I'll just take a laxative and make it go away for a little bit rather than not be able to hold it in.
Damn.
Did we all pick diarrhea because the other one just hurts?
Probably.
I'd pick diarrhea. I'd rather not be full of shit. I don't like to struggle. Just let it out. Damn, man, I'm getting fucking owned here. Somebody said, dude, I can't believe you were wrong on this. Diarrhea, hands down. At least it's relief. Damn, why am I so out of touch?
66%. I might have said that exact number.
Yo, you crushed me in this poll, man. You crushed me. And I was wrong. I was guessing it'd be around 50-50.
Damn. I hope my fucking TV works. That's all I'm worried about right now. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to be pissed like a motherfucker.
I got to reevaluate life now, bro.
I think you're looking at it from the wrong lens.
I honestly, it's my own personal experience that has led me to this conclusion because like I was describing to you, every time in my life I've ever had diarrhea, which isn't that often, by the way, it was like excruciatingly painful where I had stomach pains. And also I have a distinct, I remember crystal clear. Every time I have diarrhea, I need to be near a toilet because you can't control it as much.
That's true. But if you take away the stomach pain aspect of it and you got into the toilet, that is the feeling that I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, now that's where you sway me a little when you say if you get rid of the stomach pain part of it. Because if you get rid of the stomach pain part of it, then yeah, everybody makes a good point when they say you're relieving yourself and it's going to feel amazing afterwards.
Yeah, it's like free flowing. It's like the waterfall, and it's like going to a drinking fountain. And
yeah, see, that's where I could fuck with everybody on that. But I guess I'm unique in that every time I've ever had it, it's been coupled with excruciating pain.
Yeah, and that's all you know.
And I think, unlike everybody else, I've been constipated and felt no pain, just been constipated. Whereas everybody else is making it seem like every time they've been constipated, they're like in pain as they're constipated.
Yeah, I don't even know the feeling of constipation, really.
What? How do you not know the feeling of constipation?
Because I'm a good bathroom goer whenever I have to go to the bathroom.
Damn, man. And you also are famous for not eating vegetables ever.
All right, vegetables make you go to the bathroom?
Yeah, that's like fibrous. They make you shit.
Oh, I mean, I eat chicken and broccoli.
Oh, that's vegetables. Broccoli's vegetables. But you have Chinese food like once every 2 weeks. You're not getting enough vegetables through that shit.
What else do I have lettuce in? There's some lettuce on my McChickens.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right,
just could have asked that lady in the random shit for anything. I could have been like, she would have got me anything out of that kitchen. I would have loved to just ask for some random ass shit.
Oh, at the diner, the random diner?
So like, you got a McRib back there? She'd be like, I think I could find one.
Damn, I sort of want to go to that random place now. You know what? The Amazing Atheist, T.J. Kirk, him and his fellow podcast mates went. They decided one day. They looked up I forgot how they did it. I think they looked up the place in the country that had the lowest average lifespan or something, and it was in like Mississippi or something. and they looked at like the number one restaurant in that place, and it was some fucking like fried food, delightful place, like burgers and like chicken fingers and shit. And they were just like, "We're doing this on a road trip," and so they took a road trip to this place that's probably been killing people for decades.
Oh, it's probably phenomenal food.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably phenomenal. It's probably unbelievable.
Oh fuck! I want to go to that spot.
Yeah. It's not as close to us though, but it's it was like a 3-hour drive for them or something like that.
By Mississippi?
I think it was in Mississippi. Yeah.
Are they by Mississippi?
I think.
No, are they like around there?
I think they're in Louisiana, so somewhere around there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they are. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure. But anyway, all right, guys, we love you, baby.
Go to Corin's World and subscribe to that shit. Got to get to 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah, see, Corin's been good. He hasn't been bugging everybody. He waits till the end of the podcast and then he throws it out there.
Kyle's gonna come on this week.
That's right. I will be on the wonderful Corin's World later in the week, so everybody look forward to that. We love y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.